Welcome to Champagne Sunday. I'm Lauren.
Hey, I'm Bonnie.
I'm Beth.
And we're going to talk about life
After divorce.
And living
The best life.
and the life you love.
Yes, living the life you love on that other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome. So we're going to talk today because we love a top 10 list or a top 10 to whatever list, depending on what kind of role we get on, about what it is that we can do with our kids for the summer. What were some of the fun things, especially when our kids were younger, that we would do to entertain them and us when we had them?
So I don't know about y'all, but I know everybody's a little bit different, but I don't get my kid full time in the summer. It's
Right.
week on, week off. So I really have to think about when he's with me, what we're doing to make the most of the fact that I have to work,
Mhm.
Right.
but also I want to make sure he's having a good summer. So one fun thing that he gets to do are camps right now. So number one, camps. My son is doing theater camp. He gets to go to art camp in a week and he gets to go to art camp again. And he loves doing that stuff because it's lots of different activities that he enjoys. And again, it's a good opportunity for him to do things and make friends while I'm at work. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah.
Okay, so I used to love to make sure that my kids had time with their cousins over the summer. So especially when my sister lived in the United States, we would make sure that there was a time that I could travel to her or she could travel here and stay with my parents. And we would just make sure that my three kids and her two kids had that time to bond and spend some time together. And we would spend time with my parents. So just family time, just taking the time to kind of bond with your extended family.
That's a good one. I used to, because it was so hot when I lived south of here, we would go to the library and do library story hour, check out books, and do
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
list and whatever it took. I know my daughter liked to get a little satchel with her name on it and put her books in her book bag.
Well, and I
That
know
was a
that
big
our
deal.
library right now is doing a challenge. There's a book
Mhm.
challenge they've got for the kids.
That's a good one. Summer reading.
Okay, so number 4, my son at least, during the summer, a lot of kids' movies come out, I think because kids have more time and he loves the movies. So he memorizes the dates that they come out so that we know when to go. So we'll go to the movies as soon as we can. And that's a good activity for if it's too hot or rainy to be outside
Mm-hmm.
too.
Okay, I would make sure that I always took my kids to whatever we have around us. We would go to the botanical gardens. We would go to, we're close enough, we'd go see Rock City. We would go to, Cathedral Caverns. Any of those naturally, whatever that kind of place, I'd make sure that we would go and take a day trip and go do that. They'd come home exhausted. It'd be fabulous. Put them to bed early. It was just fun.
Okay. Every summer, I spent massive amounts of time at the swimming pool. And it was then the mothers would do movie night at the swimming pool. But the best thing that the mom posse did was we would bring their pajamas. And at the end of the swim day, when we'd order their dinner, we would take them into the shower, shampoo them up, rinse them off, put them in their pajamas. And they could watch a movie and we would take them home completely worn out.
That's great.
It was fabulous.
That's full service.
That's great.
It was fabulous.
Okay, so number 7, I guess we're close enough to the beach that running down to the beach for a weekend is completely doable. So we actually did that a couple weeks ago, and I'm lucky that my parents have a place that we can go visit them. I can't go for like a week at a time because I don't get that much time off work, but it's easy to run down for a weekend. So we're doing that a couple of times.
Yeah, spending time on the water.
Yeah, the water in the summer
great.
is great.
Yeah. Okay, I spent a lot of time because I was that weird kid who really tried to encourage my kids to play pretend over the summer. We would go on snipe hunts. We'd go look for fairy houses. We would, find little acorns or stones and draw little pictures on. We would make fairy traps for their bedrooms because my daughter had a tangle fairy that would tangle her hair at night. And so we would do things to try and catch the tangle fairy before her hair got tangled. And I mean, just really sort of play in that little kid pretend world. I would put myself down there with them and I would like, oh, well, what do you think? And really try and pull out some imagination out of them. That was fun for me, I guess. And it didn't cost anything. You'd be right in our
Yeah.
backyard or walk down the street or where we go swing on the swings. We could do that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Sounds good. We would always chase the ice cream truck.
Oh,
We made a game of it. A couple of times a week, they would find all the loose change wherever and collect it. And we would chase down the ice cream truck. And that's a fun summer.
I would say I'm number 10, I guess, now. Don't overschedule. Like, let summer be a break from routine when you can. Like, have the it's okay to be lazy sometimes because the school year, especially if you're a working mom and you're a single parent and they're going to activities and they're going to daytime. When you can, it's okay to be a little bit lazy. Like, that's all right. And to not have an overscheduled life.
hey, building a fort in your den, watching movies all day with
Which
popcorn.
I believe he did a couple weeks ago with
My daughter. Yes. I wonder where she learned that. But we would do that. But for rainy days, no matter where you are, a fort that covered our entire downstairs with every chair and blanket that we had and hair ties to hold them onto the chairs and all of these things. That was just fun.
That's a good lazy summer thing to do.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a number 11.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So I always during the summer would take my kids, because I was a teacher, up to my classroom.
Mhm.
It was sometimes the only time they saw, and my boys were older when I started working, but my daughter was kindergarten. But it was they got to see where mom worked and that mom did work and got to see my environment. And when I was still married, I would take them to go see their dad at work and to take him lunch at work and so they could see this is where dad works and this is what he does. Because you don't have that kind of time during the school year. But I felt it was really important for them to see the working environment
Mhm.
and that this is a part of what we do so we can have the things that we have and this is what we have. And it's a time where things are a little bit slower and now, Lauren, you have your kid at work all the time.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. And so I just think it's an important time where we even went to where my dad worked and would take them up there. And you know what I mean? It was just another time to show them a part of what that business world looked like.
Mhm.
Hmm. My daughter used to come to the shop with me. She loved it. She
Mhm.
used to always say, Mama, when you die, I want to run the shop. Okay, let's frame that a little nicer. That's fun.
Do you have a number 12? Are we good?
You know what I liked? When I had a massive garden, I loved to give the watering duties and the sprinkler or the watering can or the hose and just have like a fun water day. Water my garden all the time, that kind of thing, just to slow down. Pick the
playing in sprinklers.
Yeah, and playing in sprinklers and the water. It was just fabulous.
So what I'll add to that kind of from the garden is that number 13, summertime is a good time to give your child new responsibility because you've got some slow down time. So like we have a dog in our lives now that just happened. And so we're trying to get her acclimated to the house and she's a great dog, but she chases the cat. So
she's a puppy.
So I made my son, I put him on dog duty and said, you need to watch where she goes in the house. And if she tries to get the kitties, clap at her. Like, so just little new chores or responsibilities.
Well, I think I taught my kids to do laundry over a summer.
Yeah.
Because I was home with them because I was a teacher and I had more time with them and they had more time. So that's a great time to introduce new chores because you don't just throw a kid a chore and say, go do it. You give them a chore and then you model and you're there with them to say, okay, well, let's try it this way. And so that way, when you're back and everybody's running 90-0 again, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I have another one. I have no idea what number.
You're 14.
You're 14 because we can't end on a 13.
No. Well, I taught my kids to cook.
Yeah.
They did everything, chopping, sauteing. They know how to, my kids can both fix whatever meal you might want. They can fix it.
Well, if they get a little older, they're old enough to research recipes they may want to try too.
That's true. But my son started, Montessori school. So at 3, he was already chopping vegetables.
Yeah.
He was my sous chef. And then, my daughter has kind of followed suit. But the summertime is a great time to do like a meal plan with them to say, this is what we do. You go to the grocery store, get just the ingredients, come home, teach them how to do it. It can be something easy as like noodles. Or
and to help them in the grocery store,
but they know,
to go shopping.
so they know the cost of things, and then how much time it takes to get the ingredients, do the meal prep, cook the meal, and then of course clean up after.
Well, that's so. When I had to have been kindergarten. My mom had these little cards, like index cards with pictures on that she cut out of magazines, like with Colgate on it. And she'd give me the card at the beginning of the aisle, and I had to go find the item on the card. It meant that she could do that whole aisle of everything she needed, and I'm still looking for that Colgate. You know what I mean? It kept me busy, and it gave me it also taught me something, and I felt like I was being helpful. Yeah. So anyway. All right, well, good. Well, I hope that y'all have a fun summer. We'll have to do an adult fun list at some point, I guess, without the kids. All right. Y'all have a great week. Thank y'all for joining us for Champagne Sunday.
See you next week, girls.
See you next week. Yeah, cheers.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.